Oh god, now we get into the regular list. Black Album. So, Weezer over the years got more and more overproduced, and I think this was like a product of that. I cannot stand some of these songs, like the writing and like the artistic things. They tried to do something different. I think this is the most experimental album they did, minus a couple of ones that we'll see later. And I don't think it really paid off. Like I think this was the risk that they took, and they misstepped by a long shot. The cover is cool. I don't actually know if this is the real cover. Actually no. They're wearing robot suits in the real cover, but this is an alternate one, I think. So, yeah. Favorite song on this one, probably Can't Knock the Hustle. Worst song, I wrote down Byzantine, because it's like elevator music, but then it's like Rivers having sex with his wife, and it's not fun at all to listen about. Number 13 is Raditude. Raditude. And, man, this... I don't know, I'm torn on this one. It's like... I hated it, but then I listened to it again, and then I was like... Man, this really isn't that bad, but then I hated it again. It starts off with, if you're wondering if I want you to, I want you to, and that song is awesome. It's like poppy. It feels like one of my friends says it's like a Disney Channel original movie song. That kind of sounds about right. But then songs like "I'm Your Daddy" and "In the Mall." "In the Mall" I despise because it's like, in the mall, in the mall, in the mall, in the mall. It's so annoying, and it just says that same line several times. It feels like this was like unfinished and rushed, and like trying to pander to a pop audience that they could not pander to at all. They work best when they're doing their own thing, I think. But I listened to the deluxe edition, and that's its own nest of rats. It's got like, oh shoot, My Truck, which is so bad it's good, and what's the other one I was thinking? Oh, the Hindi version of another one of their songs, which actually sounds pretty good. There's some other ones on there that, if you want to listen to Raditude, listen to the deluxe edition. I think you'll like it better than the original. Or at least that was my take. Make Believe, number 12. This one's kind of a tough one, because this was like, okay, so history of Weezer. Their first two albums slapped. Third album was okay, but it was coming after a long hiatus, and like, I don't know, Rivers blew up on the inside and on the outside, and so they tried something to pander to a pop audience. No, this is their fifth album. They tried to pander to a pop audience, which they kind of did in Green, which I'll get to later, but like, this one, I read somewhere somebody saying like every single song in this, they say the title of the song more than 10 times in the song. And like, that's exactly how I feel about this one. It's very poppy, it's very like 2000s-y. If you've ever heard Beverly Hills, you'll know what I mean. Like, Beverly Hills, that's where I want to play. Like, that song is like just bloated with like the whole pop tropes. But it's not a horrible album. I don't hate it. It's just they've done so much better, I think. My favorite song on this one is definitely Perfect Situation. Oh my god, it's like singing oh, oh, and it just flows nicely. It's very well done. I think that's my favorite on that album. I wouldn't say there's a worse song. They kind of all just feel generic and not memorable, so yeah. Now we hit the Wall of Bearable. Those albums that I just listed, I cannot stand, but if you're like a crazy fan, you're welcome to listen to them and dig out like the favorites. The ones that I suggested are probably the best ones and the ones you should listen to. Everything past here is probably the stuff that you should definitely take a listen to if you want to listen to the album start to finish. Starting off with Pacific Daydream. I'm kind of torn on this one. This kind of hops both sides of the barrier. I actually wrote it down as on the other side, but when I was editing, I kind of changed that. The songs on here are pretty good. Like, I really enjoy the vibe that they're giving off. It's a very 2010s pop. It's like that sort of kind of Imagine Dragons vibe almost. Like if you know what I'm saying, which doesn't always work on this album. Like there's definitely some misses, but like QB Blitz and Feels Like Summer. Oh my gosh, those are excellent songs. Like QB Blitz is like, this intercom is broken into pieces, which is really good, and it just kind of goes on like that. It's kind of sad, but I don't really know why it's sad because it's just their lyrics are ridiculous. And then Feels Like Summer is like, yeah, it feels like summer to me, he, and that one's really good because it's just like, it does feel like summer. Rivers is right. I couldn't find a worse song on here either. The other ones besides those big two kind of blend together. They kind of feel like the same vibe. There's not one that like really, really, really sucks that you shouldn't listen to. I don't think. If you find one, comment please, because I can't remember. Green Album, number 10. This one is a little bit controversial. It's a little bit lower than most people would think. I don't know. It has perhaps the most popular Weezer song. It's Island in the Sun. It's like, when you're on a holiday, and then they go like, on an island in the sun, we'll be playing and having fun, like that. And it's really good. I think they played it on a local radio station a whole lot when they were advertising a music festival. So I got to hear it like that, but they never played it fully, so it was really cool to listen to it for the first time. That was the first Weezer song I really listened to and liked a lot. And, oh yeah, this is also after their hiatus from their second album, and they kicked off one of their members, Matt Sharp, or I think he left, and made the Rentals, and Weezer replaced him, with Mike Welsh, so, yeah, and I mean, that's kind of what it goes on. So, Island of the Sun is definitely my favorite. There's some other good ones on there. I think Crab unanimously is the worst song. I can't think of somebody who's like, whoa, Crab is my favorite Weezer song. If you listen to it, you'll understand what I'm saying. Now for the elephant in the room. So, the hype behind this was massive. This album had been in like the woodworks for like almost 2 years, and then it came out, and everybody was like, whoa. Or no, everybody was like, whoa, up until then, because it was a huge deal. Like, next album after Black, what are they gonna do? After the tribute to, it's a tribute to Van Halen, but then Eddie Van Halen passed away, which was really sad, but how do you do it justice? And, yeah, you can see that little meme with, like, the kids, discussing, like, that's kind of how it felt. I mean, after OK Human came out, like, will it really top that? And, I don't think it did. The singles that they released, I think they released like 4 or 5 singles, and there was like Beginning of the End, which really good song. Hero was pretty good. The mix on this album is a lot better. And there are definitely some huge fans of this album. I can see why. I just don't enjoy it as much. Like, shoot, one of the songs they introduced it with Crazy Train, and I just can't stand that. Like, it doesn't. There's no need to do it. And it doesn't match the song at all. Like, I can't even remember what song it goes with. But they just did it. I don't know why. And that's kind of how the whole album feels like. I don't know why. I think the best song, either Beginning of the End, which is kind of controversial on this album because the mix was different from the single. And the single mix, which was also in Bill and Ted's movie that came out recently, was pretty good. But then I don't know. I like One More Hit as well. There's something interesting about that. Worst song, either Sheila. It's like, if Sheila can do it, I can do it. But that's like the whole song, so it's like really annoying and repetitive. And then there's She Needs Me, which I can't even remember because it's just so generic and repetitive, and it was just disappointing. Because all the singles that were released beforehand, excellent songs. And then the album itself was just like, it took them 2 years and it still feels unfinished. Although then again, I'm looking into it, and like, apparently the person who did the mix was the same age as me, so that's pretty interesting. Yeah, well, Red Album. I re-listened to this one recently, and there's I don't know. There's like I hated it, but then I love it now because it's like there's something excellent about it. Like it's I don't know how to describe it. It's very experimental. It's very like they were kind of testing their feet in the waters. This was after pretty sure this was after Pacific Daydream. So most of like they're kind of finding their footing again because Pacific Daydream was sort of received well. I don't know. Music critics, I hate music critics when it comes to Weezer. They ruin it. They ruined our number 2 spot, and they really kind of killed the band for a little bit and some other stuff. But like they love Pacific Daydream, but like the fans didn't like it that much, so they tried something new with this, and I think it mostly hit. The Greatest Man That Ever Lived is not my favorite. It's kind of like rough, and it's almost like a folk song, and I don't really like it. But like Pork and Beans, oh my gosh, it's like out of all the things that I wanna do. It kind of feels rebellious in a sense, and like Dreamin' is really good. It's 5 minutes long. I don't think it needs to be. It's like I'm dreaming in the evening, and then like I Thought I Knew is decent. I think that's probably my favorite on this album, and it's not even sung by Rivers Cuomo. It's sung by Mike Welsh, or is it sung by Mike Welsh? No, I don't think it is. It's sung by shoot, I can't forget his name. Editor Joey might actually put his name in. But thought I knew you better than this. Thought I knew your intentions. And that song is cool because it was repurposed from his own song, like his own song that was a little bit sadder and a little bit toned down. But this one's nice because it's like it's upbeat a little bit more, and I really like it because of that. And then let's see, the Cold Dark World is kind of cool too. Like Angel Girl in a cold dark world, and then it has like this that kind of goes with it, which is a cool vibe. And the album cover is kind of funny too. Oh god, this one, Hurley. I don't know if I'm putting it too high. It's kind of like a predecessor to the next album, which is Everything Will Be Alright in the End, and it really feels like that. It feels like it was like the inspiration for this. It was like building up to that, because for a while Weezer was kind of like a hit and miss sort of band. Like a lot of the albums that were put earlier on this list are not new. Like they're older, or like they're not like the early ones, but like they're like 2000s sort of. But then they're kind of finding their footing here, which I really like. And man, this one, I have a connection to this one. It's like, I don't know. There's something good about it. It's I guess I should. The meme in the top left goes very well with "Where's My Sex," which I despise because it's such an awkward song, and like then you replace it with the word socks, and I was like, why don't you just replace it with the word socks to begin with? I think that was hilarious. Why don't you just do that? Because Weezer's kind of like that nerdy, hilarious kind of band, and I feel like that would have fit the vibe perfectly. But they did sex because I have no clue. And then I put the Whammon over there because I don't know. I feel like she'd be a Hurley fan. There's what is it? Smart Girls, Slaps. Unspoken is easily the best song in this album. It's like, our life will be broken, our hate will be unspoken. But it sort of builds up in the song. Like, it kind of goes, like, the first verse is very soft and slow, and then the second verse is like almost like a folk song, and then the third verse, and like it builds into this like metal, like beautiful, like I don't know, it's an accumulation that kind of builds up, and I really like it for that. There's some other ones like shoot, I don't know, like I don't know. They're all really good. I think if you listen to that song start, just don't listen to Time Flies. I think for whatever reason in post production they decided to like cover it with like this like shaky. It sounds like you're listening to it on a subwoofer. Like the subwoofer is trying to play it. You'll know it when you listen to it. It's just horrible. such a good album, and ends on that. Just disappointing. Because it's a decent song, too. It's just not... they ruined it in post-production. Did you agree with our list? Tell us down in the comments below. But, hey, that's just a theory. Thanks for watching Watch Mojo. Weezer. Next episode coming soon.